Okay, here I am again. So, welcome at Sparkle TV. My name is Pingelbraat, and this is my channel to share some of neuroplastic healing, somatic movement practices, dance, creativity to move from freezy states underneath tension, chronic pain maybe, but also when we find it hard to feel our sensations or when we feel that freezy states and to move into flow. And today and in the upcoming 3 lessons, I will be sharing a few techniques that we use in Feldenkrais functional integration to really work together, co-create with our nervous system to look deeply into patterns that we perceive as dysfunctional and to, rather than change that pattern, optimize that pattern in such a way that our nervous system doesn't have to be busy with it anymore and can orient on something else, something that is really, really important for our nervous system, mapping itself in the environment and stabilize the system, keep its equilibrium. So often these patterns, they are a complex weaving of soul, emotion, thought, physical action, neurobiology. And over time they became maybe we treated through this pattern, they became the lens through which we were acting, and it has become a habit. And habits can be very stubborn, very hard to change, because habits have a function. They protected us once, they helped the nervous system to keep a certain stability going on in the system. So let's see today if we can dive deep into this, in some of these patterns that we might detect, by going on a pattern safari in neuro-wonderland, your nervous system. And for today you only need yourself. We're going to do a profound inquiry as we are standing and engaging with our environment. So let's start. I'd like you to stand somewhere in your space, in your environment, and just take a moment to look around and really feel where you are. Coming home, here's where I am. And slowly start to remove the distractions, maybe the disturbing noises that you feel agitated by. Can you slowly let them be for what they are? So once we have find out, okay, things are safe, we can just let it go. Maybe you smell some things, see things that bother you. Okay, so just take a stand in your space where you can feel like, okay, I'm not distracted here by whatever is around me. And then start feeling your feet in the floor. How are you contacting the floor today? And the floor, the gravitational forces of Earth, the upward forces of Earth, are one of the most important things for our nervous system to be able to experience, to map itself in relation with this field, this Earth field. And so often when we have a lot of tension, that is the first thing that we start to move away from. We start to hold ourselves rather than leaning into this support that we get from the Earth itself. So feel how your contact is with the floor, how much of yourself is being supported by your feet, and how much of yourself maybe hangs on your shoulders. And we can do that without any judgment. It's totally okay what's all happening. It's all part of the patterns that we are going to play with. And then also sense your skeleton. How is it aligned today? And we have three like pretty heavy parts in our skeleton: our pelvis, our chest, our head. Just feel how are they aligned above your legs, your feet. And then there's the muscles, of course, that help the skeleton to stay aligned. And when the skeleton feels pretty imbalanced, the muscles don't have to work that hard. But sometimes when some of these body weights are a little out of balance with each other, we might experience a lot of tension in the back, or we might experience shallow breathing. Maybe we hold our tummy. So just sense your muscles. And mostly we sense our muscles through their contractions or through the absence of contractions. Be like filling space in ourselves. And also take a moment to sense your breath. And especially the spaces in your body that move as you breathe in and as you breathe out. How is your breath moving your body, steering your body? And then with this very basic scan of yourself, slowly start to shift weight to one leg. And just note which leg you're going to. Which is the leg you trust more? Mostly we are going to the leg, firstly, that we think will hold us. And then you come back. And as you repeat this a few times, just observe the way. And then a few times you can also move very slowly to the leg that was not your first choice. So bring the weight over the feet, over the one foot, other foot. Just sense what is happening with your breathing again. Is there different places that you touch or don't touch with your breath? That you feel move or don't feel move anymore? Or are you holding your breath on some moment in this movement? And the slower you go, the more you can sense of yourself. The more you have time to feel what's happening in between this intention, I'm going to shift my weight, and the actual action of shifting weight. What is the response to the intention? What's happening in between? And then go back to the first leg. And we will play some more with the first leg that you choose for today. And this time just keep on shifting your weight onto the foot of the first leg. And start feeling, is there any place in your body that turns a little bit? Maybe your pelvis, your chest, your head. Just a little turn, can be so small. How are the body weights responding? And if you sense just the slightest of turn, is it a turn in the direction of the leg that you're going to, or is it a turn in the direction of where you were before you started moving? And next, just take a moment now to feel how equally distributed in your 2 feet. And just sense the distance between your legs. How close are they together? Is that nice, or do you want to change something there? You can maybe put them a little wider. If they are very close, to feel if shifting weight is easier. And then again, start to shift your weight to your first leg. And as you do so, start to observe where your eyes go. Your eyes, are they staying to the front, looking at what you have in front of you? Or do you feel they are just slightly orienting on something else? It's very funny to observe our own eyes as we do something. So often we think we are in charge. And sometimes we are, and sometimes it's our eyes, they do the thing to serve our unconscious inner world and help our nervous system to map itself, questions over between eyes and nervous system. So just sense, as you are orienting in your body, where's your nervous system orienting? Now very consciously start to look as you move to this first leg with your weight. Start to look and observe, where do you look? Do you look in the direction where you're going, or do you look in the opposite direction? And that's the first start of the pattern, the shift of weight. How we are shifting weight. Is there any relationship between the pelvis, the chest, the head and the feet, the eyes? And where are we going with our eyes, with our gaze as we shift weight? And just see what it is like when you go to the other leg. Is that exactly the same experience? Are you behaving exactly the same? Is your nervous system firing off exactly the same pattern, or is there a different pattern there? Maybe you sense yourself shifting weight to that leg and a slight turn in another direction, which could be, or maybe the same. Do you have the same habit? And there's no wrong or right, there's just knowing. And before we know, we cannot do anything. The more we know, the more we understand what's happening, the more we can find out how to best navigate to find this state in which we want to be, feeling better. But to feel better, we have to feel better. So, again, bring them weight to your two legs, and for a moment just walk a bit. Look around, walk a bit. Become neutral again, seeing what you can see around you. We oscillate between our attention being outside in our environment and coming inside, so that we can maintain this neutral observation of ourselves, so we're not have to go deeper in where we start to analyze what we feel, where we start to attach a story to it. We just want to stay neutral, just like on a safari. You want to see what is to see there, and enjoy the views inside and outside. And so please come back now to stillness, to stand still, and maybe in the same spot. The same spot is best today. And again, take a moment to sense your feet in the ground. Has anything changed? Is there more of yourself that feels in the feet? Let itself be supported by the ground. And this time start to bring your weight, shift your weight to the first leg again, very consciously turning in the direction of where you go. To see behind yourself. That might be the final destination. We don't have to go that far. And just sense, how are you turning? Is it head, chest, pelvis all at once? Or do you feel there is sort of a sequential following there? And a few times just feel as you do that. Are you feeling taller? Or while you turn, do you become smaller in your perception? Tall or small? And what does your breath tell you about that? How do you breathe? How do you breathe? As you look around, is it more like you following your in-breath or your flowing in, or in the more like contracting, releasing of air flowing out? And how can you engage your eyes to really see what is to see? How does that change the movement when we engage the eyes and we are getting interested also in the environment? We sort of shift from exercising into moving, which is a very different thing for our nervous system. Moving is how we interact with our environment, communicate, and exercise might just be a very isolated practice. So bring yourself back to your 2 feet. And then as you start shifting your weight to the leg, your first leg, can you look to the side? So you shift to the first leg, but you look the other way around. I hope that was a clear question to you. And just sense, how are you doing that? How much of you is turning? Does it turn at the same time, or is there an interval in between? How does it twist and turn in your body? And how do you follow your breath now? Does this turn feel more restricted, or more? Do you have more of an ability to look behind yourself? No judgment here. It's 2 different things. Might be very different for many people. You might feel maybe different places in your body that are sending a message. Your hip joints, your ankle joints, telling different things. Your shoulders, your shoulder blades. And so a few times repeat this turning, looking to this side while you shift your weight on your first leg. That you get in the inside, one of getting smaller or taller. And small or tall does not have to mean anything, but you might also detect a different emotional state in the background or different thoughts. Which side to turn to does make you feel more confident, more self-confident in the world that you are observing. Let's alternate. The last thing for today, let's alternate by going to the first leg with the weight, looking in the direction of where we're going and see what's behind, or looking in the opposite direction of what, and see what's behind. Every time shifting the weight to this one first leg we choose. And just sense, is there an emotional difference? Emotions in the background. Really heavy ones often. But it's these little emotions in the background often that reinforce a pattern that we don't like. Because we are not so aware of these emotions, and there might also be little thoughts popping up. Maybe just a word, or just a sensation of a thought. These small ones that we normally don't observe, because often we are more busy with the bigger picture of emotions and of thoughts and of what we know that is attached to our stories. And these might be things that we don't so consciously attach to our story, but they might influence how our life happens for us. So what's happening with the sensation in these two variations? Both very useful variations in life, depending on how we use them in situations, in interactions with others or our environment. And so the more we become conscious of this pattern, the more we can start to play with it so that we get more in control of what we are. So if we know what's happening here inside, you get a little bit more of a choice. You get options. And these options, that is what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow and the day after, we are going to play with tons of options that reinforce this pattern to be more, better, more optimal. And from there, let's see what happens with this pattern, what our nervous system is going to do. Co-creating with our nervous system is the theme for the upcoming 2 days. So for today I will stop and leave you for a beautiful day I hope you will have, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye bye.